Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today in this session we are going to start with the basics of theory of computation, discrete mathematics. So basically I'm going to introduce you all to set notation, sets, and slowly we are going to move into the details of the things which go on in theory of computation and discrete mathematics. So basically we're going to cover the topics of propositional logic and so on, and similarly in TOC we are going to cover all these topics. So let's start with this video. So first of all, what is a set? So set is basically a collection of elements. Now these elements, they do not have any particular type of structure, but all in all they are linked with is only the membership relation. That is, all those elements are members of a particular set. For example, when I say that I have a set, let's say A, which has elements 1, A, and let's say O, then all of these elements are not related with each other in any manner, but they are linked with A with the relationship is a member of. So basically I would say 1 belongs to A, or 1 is a member of set A. So that is the only relation which is defined by a set notation. So now all the sets are generally represented by capital alphabets such as A to Z, and to represent X is a member of set S, we say X belongs to S, which I just explained with an example, and this belongs to is basically a symbol which is known as belongs to or a member of. Now similarly, if I want to say that X does not belong to S, or X is not present in set S, then I would just say X belongs to and I'll cross that. So basically I'll write belongs to symbol and then I'll just cross that with a single slash. So that is how we represent not a member of. Now let's come to the different notations in which a set can be represented. So there are two basic notations which I have found in most of the books. The first one is known as the ellipse notation or the listing method. So in this, what happens is we just list all the elements of the set in the form of a list. Basically we write each and every element. That is what we mean by listing method. So as I've given this example, S is equals to 0, 1, 2. This is used when we clearly know about the elements of set. Obviously, when we know what are the elements and we can write them down, only then we would use this notation. Otherwise, what we would use, I'll discuss it in a short while. Okay. Now similarly, if I want to now represent a collection of elements which is somewhat large and I don't want to write all of them. Let's say I want to list all the lowercase English alphabets and I don't want to write each and every alphabet. Then what I do, I just I write some of them. Okay, some of the beginning alphabets, that is A, B, C, and then I write these 3 dots. Okay, you can also write it like this. So no need to make them like double like this. That's just my way of writing. So you can also write them as 3 dots. So 3 continuous dots is the notation, and then you write down the last or some of the last alphabets. Okay, so some of the last alphabets, what I mean by that is like you could write X, comma Y, comma Z instead of the Z, and you could write these 3 dots before that. Okay, so this is another way of writing it. Similarly, if I want to write the set of all positive even integers, then I would write 2, 4, 6. Now I not written the last element because this is an infinite set. I do not know where it ends, right? So I can just write down 3 dots at the end. Okay, now the next notation is the set builder notation. Now in the set builder notation, we use this when we are not clearly sure of all the elements which may be present in the set. We just know a particular pattern which is obeyed by all the elements of the set, or a particular, you can say, phrase which is obeyed by all the elements of the set. Now this is very much similar to this particular form or this example, because as you can see in 2, 4, 6 so on, I just wrote 3 dots because I am not sure of all the elements which might be present in the set, because it is an infinite set. So I can also represent that in set builder notation. And how do I do that? So for that I write, so I basically in this what we do is we represent each and every member of that set in a generalized form. So like if I want to define the elements of this set, how would I define them? Okay, so in that manner you need to think. So for example, I write what, that I, where I represents an element in the set S such that I is more than 0 and I is even. So what does that mean? That means I is even, so all the numbers present in this set would be even and the numbers are greater than 0. So how would I write it as a statement? I would write that it is a set of, it is a set, right? So it is a set of positive even integers. Okay, so it is a set of positive even integers. So similarly it can be like vice versa. It may be that it may be given that just write down the set of positive even integers in set builder notation. Then basically you are given this and you need to write this. Okay, now if I were to write its equivalent form in the, like in ellipse form or in the list method form, then this is the equivalent form which we just discussed. Okay, now let's come to some of the set operations. So there are like 4 standard or primary set operations, which are union, intersection, difference and complementation. So these are the very basic ones. Okay, so let's start with the union. Union basically means when you need to combine the elements of two sets, nothing more than that. You're just combining both the you're just combining the elements in two sets. But another thing is no element in the set is repeated. So if there is any element which is occurring in both the sets, let's say in A and B, then what I would do is I'll just write them once. So that is the only thing you need to take care of. But now let's come to its notation, like how is it represented and everything. So union of two sets is represented by this U symbol. Okay, and particularly if there are, let's say, two sets S1 and S2, so we would write the union as S1 union S2 or S1 U S2. And in the form of, let's say, in the form of set notation, how is it represented in form of set builder notation? I would say S1 union S2 is equals to X such that, so I'm defining each and every element of this new set, which is the union of two sets, as X belongs to S1 or X belongs to S2. So as simple as that. What would be the rule? That either the element would belong to S1 or it would belong to set S2. And how would we represent them in the form of Venn diagram? So if there is some set S1 and there is some set S2 and they have some overlapping elements or common elements, then their union will be represented as the entire portion which marks S1 as well as S2. Okay, so as you can see, there is some overlapping portion, but you need to remember that whichever are the common elements, you would just write them once. Okay, let's move on. The second major operation is intersection. Now intersection basically represents the common area of the two sets, as you can see in the Venn diagram over here. So this is the common area between S1 and S2 and it is represented by an inverted U symbol. Intersection with an inverted U symbol. And how do I represent it using set builder notation? So I say that X such that X belongs to S1 and, so over here we have used and instead of or. So X belongs to S1 and X belongs to S2 because we are talking about the common elements present in S1 and S2. And this is how we represent it in the form of a Venn diagram. Okay, Let's move to the third major function, which is set difference. Now set difference, as it says, is a difference, so therefore it is represented with the help of a minus sign. So it is S1 minus S2, and so it can also be S2 minus S1, but particularly if I am just defining S1 minus S2 for now, how would I write, or what would it mean first of all? So it would mean that the elements which are only present in S1 and are not present in S2. That means if there are some common elements which are present in S1 and S2, then S1 minus S2 would represent only the elements present in S1, which is this portion. So I am just removing this portion which is common between S1 and S2 from the set from which I am minusing something. Okay. So how do I represent it in set builder notation then? So it is written as X such that X belongs to S1 and X does not belong to S2. Okay, so we just write the precise meaning, what we mean or what we write in the statement. In the same way, we represent that in the set builder notation. So similarly, if I were to show about S2 minus S1, then that would mean only the portion specific to S2, and I am not including the part which is common to S2 and S1. Okay. So, in nutshell, we can also write one more thing, which is S1 union S2 is equals to S1 minus S2 union S1 intersection S2 union S2 minus S1. So just think about it, that whether you got this thing or not, how I wrote this. Okay, now let me just explain it for a second. It's very simple. See, the entire thing over here is S1 union S2. The left side portion marked with red is S1 minus S2. The common portion is always represented by S1 intersection S2, and the right hand side portion is again S2 minus S1. So S1 union S2 is nothing but union of all these three. So this is also asked often in different questions, so just keep this in mind. And I would say that discrete mathematics or set notation is nothing but understanding. Once you understand it, you can just express it in different interchangeable forms of set notation. So just don't cram it, just try to understand. And if in case you have any doubts at any point, feel free to post them as comments in the comment section below. Okay, let's move on to the next operation, which is complementation. Now complementation basically means complement of a set or negation of a set. So it is represented by S dash. We write the set S, and if I have to find its complement, I would write a bar over it. So that is S bar or S dash. That is its complement. Complement means all the elements which are not present in S. So then if they are not present in that set S, where are they present? So for that we need to define another set, which is universal set. So universal set is a set in which we say that which contains all the possible elements. All the possible elements in our universe are present in the universal set, and we represent it as a U. Okay, so now we represent U as universal set also, and also as a union operator. So yes, we do use the same symbol for both of them, but there is a different context and we use it like differently in different ways. Okay, now let's just represent this S complement in with the help of a Venn diagram. So first of all, how do I represent a universal set? So I draw a rectangular box and I write this U on the right hand side upper corner, which essentially means that this entire thing is U or is our universe. Now if I have to represent a set S in it, I would write this is my set S, and I can write S within it. Okay. Now if I have to write S complement, what would I mean by that? So let's draw it clearly again. I draw this universal set. You can also write it inside or outside, it doesn't matter much. And then I write this set S, okay. And when I have to write now S complement, if I say S, then this is the shaded portion which is S. If I say S complement, then let me draw it with a different color. This is S complement. So everything which is outside S is S complement. Is S complement. Okay, everything which is outside S is S complement. Okay, now empty set. Empty set is basically a set with no element. So this is another type of set which does not contain any element, and it is also known as a null set, and it is represented by this symbol which is also known as phi. So phi, it is pronounced as phi symbol. Okay, let's move on. Now there are different operations with phi. Let's quickly discuss them, and we discuss De Morgan's law, and then we wrap up this video and we'll move into the details in our next videos. Okay, so if I take union of a set S with phi, which is an empty set, or so what will it be? So it will be the set itself, which is S. Similarly, if I subtract this phi from S, it will be S again. Similarly, if I take intersection of S with phi, now intersection of this set S with an empty set, or I draw it like this, okay, phi, but it does not contain any element. Now, if there is any set which does not contain any element, and I try to take intersection of my this set with this, then that would be what? That would also be an empty set, because it does not contain any element. So how would I say that they have some common element? There is no element common, right? Okay. Now complement of an empty set will be what? It will be the entire universe. So this U is for universal set, and not union. Okay. Okay, so that's all for this session. I'll see you all in the next video with many more concepts such as De Morgan's law, disjoint sets, subsets, etc. Till then, stay tuned, keep practicing, keep learning. Thank you.